Well, welcome everyone, and this is the 12th episode.
Probably.
Of this podcast is in alpha, and it may be subject to change. We're only 12 episodes in, who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, joining me today is just, my fellow co-host, Tef, over there. Welcome, Tef, to the show.
Hello. I'm co-host now, apparently. I got promoted last episode. That was an exciting moment.
You did. So now you can take over as host when I need to go.
Where are you going? To another plane of existence? I need to go. My people need me. Jeff, you must carry on the podcast.
All I'm saying is when the next Dark Age update drops and I drop off the face of the earth, you have to carry on the torch, Tef.
Oh, you've got to do your dishes and you just fall into the time hole in your kitchen.
Yeah, I don't know why they put the time hole in the middle of the kitchen, It's not like... They could have put it to the side, at least.
I mean, can you not just skirt around it? This is my skirt, and it's not like the Master Chief guns.
Yeah, it's it really sucks you in, It's got... So you gotta be really careful going around it. I tried putting a rug over it. It just went right in.
Just throw a rug over it. Yeah, that makes sense. That'll work. Why not? Just put a Tesco plastic bag on it. Yeah.
How did we get here? This podcast is about video games, right? We talk about video games here.
I thought we were in this podcast as in black holes.
Oh.
This podcast is in a time-space rip.
No, that's on Wednesdays.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because of the time-space rift, I didn't know where I was.
Yeah, you get a bit muddled. It happens, But yeah, I think Zolt mentioned he might try and join halfway through this podcast. I don't know if he will. Probably not. Let's be honest.
No, I doubt it. But who knows? Who knows? Yeah, it's been a bit of a mad one. I think we had the whole crew at one point, and then people had to drop out, and you know how it is. But you only need us anyway. We're the best.
It's true. That's why they tune in. All for me and Tef.
It's much more my channel now anyway, pal.
I mean, 60-40,
Yeah. You've got like the arcade channel. You've got all the arcade section of the Discord, but I've real supreme in the general section.
I'm just saying that arcade side of Discord's very active, like 60% more active. It's on the 60% side, less so the 40.
This is some proper boomer talk now.
I don't know what we're talking about. Should we talk about what we've been playing this week? Should we get into that?
Yeah. Who's going first?
Well, I mean, would you like to go first, Taf? Would you like to tell me what you've been playing this week?
I would. I know everyone else can't see it, but I've just spotted the McDonald's cup and I'm not happy.
What McDonald's cup?
It's almost in frame. Almost. For everybody else, but I can see it. I'm not happy.
What McDonald's cup?
You know. Anyway, I've been playing pretty much one game all week because Ziff was like, "Oh, you should get Game Pass. It looks pretty good." And then I was looking at it whilst we were talking on the last podcast on Monday, and it was like £1 for the first month. So I was like, "Go on, I'll give that a go. And I immediately downloaded Forza Horizon, and that is all I've played all week, basically. And I wish I could say, at least it saved me money, because Forza's like £50 or like £70 if you want the Game of the Year edition. And it didn't really, because Forza kept shouting at me for only having 8 gig of RAM. Because that was fine most of the time. That was fine in single player, but it's kind of one of those it's like a lot of racing games now. It's kind of semi MMO style where you're in a lobby with like
it's a live service.
Yeah, you know how it is. And you can drive past other races and stuff like that. And they've all got custom paint jobs, and it's got to try and load them into my RAM as I'm driving past. And like that's the straw that broke the camel's back.
Is there no feature to? I feel like it would make sense in a game like that to have a feature where you can disable those and just have a default. Okay.
Oh, do you mean so that you can't see the custom paint jobs? I don't.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
I didn't actually look at all, but I think the game just wants you to have at least 8 gigabytes. And because I'm a bit of a laptop noob, I actually only had 7 usable because one gig's got to be used as VRAM for
Oh,
the integrated card that doesn't get
oh, of
used. But
course.
yeah. Mhm. So anyway, so I spent £70 on new RAM. So I can't even say I've saved money. It's actually made me spend more. But it's well worth it because it's probably the best racing game I've ever played. I'm just going to put it out there. It
That's
beats
high
Ridge Racer 4
praise.
for me, and you know how much I love Ridge Racer 4. You know how I feel about that game. That game is my heart and soul, but it's so good. It is so much fun. The cars just feel perfect, and it's just so much fun to drive them, and there's all kinds of different races you can do, and there's just insane set pieces that you can do. There's a Halo set piece race where
A
you're in a
Halo?
warthog.
Oh,
Yeah,
that sounds really cool, actually.
it's like the last level of Halo 1 or Halo 3 where you're in a warthog and you're trying to like escape
Oh,
in time, and Cortana's going, "Go, Chief, go, go, go!" And it's on the standard Forza Horizon map in like the standard open world for
that's
Forza,
weird.
but the skybox is Installation 4 from Halo, so you can just see the ring going up
Oh,
into the sky. It's very cool. Yeah, it's just a fantastic game, and you can do all the different types of cars you can unlock or buy. Like as soon as I got the tiniest amount of money, I bought a Triumph van. Not Triumph. What? Why did I say Triumph? The 3-wheeler van. I can't even think of who makes it now. It's Herald. Don't know.
I have no
Like the
idea.
3-wheeler van for Only Fools and Horses.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I bought that. And of course, I put the Only Fools and Horses paint job on it with the Trotters Independent Traders and all that.
You've got to do
And
that.
and then I fitted a V8 in it and a roll cage and just sent it careening off a hill. Because it's a 3-wheeler, you can just put a massive engine in it, and then every time you try and turn the car when it's going at like 120, it just spins and rolls. It's so much fun.
I'll be honest, you're selling me on this now. Before, you just sounded like, the typical guy they bring on to show off the car game. Who's like, I really like cars. Let me show you my car game. Oh,
I love cars.
look at this car right here. Look how pristine and clean it is.
Oh.
You'd eat your dinner off that car, you could.
But it does have all that stuff, but that's what makes it so good. It's because
Yeah.
they've taken all that simulator engine from Forza Motorsport and just put it in a stupid arcade racer game. But all that simulation's still there, so you can still tweak the car so that you can just tweak it and mess with all the downforce and everything until it's completely undrivable, and then just send it spinning and doing donuts everywhere. It's just great. It's just
So it's
great
got
fun.
something for
It's just
everyone.
mess around. That's it. Something
you got-
for everyone.
You got the arcadey fun, and then you got the people who are like, oh, look at the exhaust pipe on that car.
Oh, I can't wait to change the crankshaft. Oh.
Just saying, there's some
Yeah, it
people
is.
that are too into cars.
Yes, you really can do all that. I honestly expected them to have stripped some of that back from standard Forza, but no, it's all there if you want to do it. It's just all there. But don't do that. Just download one of the presets online because someone else will have tuned it better than you can anyway, and you can just download that tuning and just whack it on your car and just go off you go. Or if you like me, pick one of the 1-star ones where they've just put a V8 in it and slick tires and not improved brakes. And just go as fast as you can and try as hard as you can to stop. Because like you can drive through like everything in that game as well. It's actually pretty hard to hit something that's going to stop you. Like pretty much buildings and particularly thick trees, like oak trees.
I was going to say, are the buildings you can drive through if you wanted to?
Sadly not. The
Oh.
buildings are the only things that like that.
I'm imagining
will
like
stop you.
one of those glass cafes or something where there's just, the glass windows that are all sitting there at the cafe and you just come right through. That'd be great.
Yeah, that's one thing that's missing. Admittedly, that would be great. It's like buildings you can crash into, but 90% of the map is countryside because it's set in like the Scottish Highlands. So there's
of
hardly any
course.
buildings to hit anyway. You can just drive through loads of fields and thin trees you can knock down, bushes you can drive through. There's like lovely little ancient cobble walls that you get in the countryside in Britain. You can just smash through them. And destroy
Yes, I know the exact walls you mean as well.
you can just smack right through them. And I always feel weirdly guilty because they're probably like 1,000 years old. But,
So do you feel like you're driving around like EastEnders or something?
A little bit, yeah. It is like that pan shot of EastEnders. It's all those fields, and it's great. You just drive through them in a car, which is completely inappropriate for it. I bought a
Very
Lamborghini
cool.
and tried to drive it through a field, and it was like a tiniest little bump in the soil. It wasn't even like a rock. It was just soil. It was like that, and the front bumper just hit it, and the Lamborghini stopped dead. It's great fun.
I mean, hey, you're selling me on that. And like, you've not even picked up the game. You picked up the Game Pass, which that's big value. Apparently, because apparently the first couple of Yakuza are on there as well, right?
Yeah, actually, all of the Yakuzas that are on PC are on there. 0, Kiwami 1, and now Kiwami 2, which I think just came out, and that's already on Game Pass. So it'd be good for you if you want to keep playing Yakuza.
Yeah, someone mentioned that, and I was like, I may pick it up just for Yakuza. Like, I don't know.
There's honestly there's loads of good stuff on there. I have played a couple of other things. I had one night where I just played like depressed women simulators for some reason. I
Depressed
downloaded that.
simulators. It was like the cat lady or that kind of stuff.
It was I played Grease, GRIS.
Oh yeah. I always thought it was like Grizz. I thought that's how it was pronounced or something.
I looked it up, I'm not going to lie, because I didn't want to call it Grizz, it felt horrible. I don't want to call it Grease either, honestly, there's just no nice way to say it. But that was fun. I haven't finished it, I probably will, because it's only like 3 hours long or something apparently. But it's like your typical indie puzzle.
That's very nice art style.
Lovely art style.
That's what I remember about that game.
I'm probably going to finish it just so I can keep staring at it for another couple of hours. Gameplay was just okay, it's standard indie puzzle platformer stuff. It's good at what it does. It's just there's so many of them out there. It's kind of hard for me to get excited about that. But the art's great, and the story seems to be. Well, I say story. It's more just a theme. It's just grief, but it seems to be well integrated. It's kind of.
There are a lot of like indie games around the themes of grief. From what I've seen, where you play some sort of depressed woman.
Honestly, that's it. That's why I was like, I'm going to play Depressed Women Simulator. Because I was playing that, and I was also playing Hair Story, which I'd been playing the week before. I don't think I mentioned that, actually, on our last podcast, but I've been playing that again. Don't know if you know anything about that game.
It's you go through, like, I forget. It's like you go through, watch a bunch of FMV things and kind of like you saw through a story or something, if I recall.
Yeah. So you scour through old police tapes of like of interviews and interrogations with this like one particular woman, and basically trying to piece together like a murder mystery from it, and it's fun. And you
can either solve it very quickly or it'll take a long time, from what I understand.
Yeah, because it's completely non-linear and it's just down to what keywords you decide to search. You can figure it out pretty quickly. I think it took me like 3-4 hours, I think, first time I played it, and then I played it again last week, and I'd figured it out in about an hour. I kept playing it because I wanted to see more of the FMVs and
the dialogue,
learn more about the actual story, because there was a lot more to the story itself, but I had already figured out what was going on. But probably, to be fair, mostly because I'd remembered what was going on, because there's a couple of twists in there which they're the kind of twists where even when you're given a few contextual clues in those clips, without the full story, it's just confusing you further. It's not actually making it clearer. It's really clever in how it's done. But that was fun. So I was playing that as well. And then my third depressed woman simulator was Hellblade. I played that. Oh yeah,
that is very depressed woman simulator, from what I understand. Also a very cool game, but it's Ninja Theory, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
because it took people by surprise, because it was Ninja Theory of all people that made a game like that.
Yeah, like, it is
very different to their previous work.
I also don't think they've ever made a good game before, have they? The closest they got was the DMC remake, reboot rather, which is debatable. Okay, but some people like that, and then everything else they've made has just been kind of universally considered pretty awful. So it did seem a little bit odd.
They have done some good stuff. I'm trying to think. What else have they made? I'm sure there's something that I can't think of. I'm gonna look it up now. Ninja Theory games.
I don't know. I don't think so. Anyway, I was looking that up, I was. I probably won't go back to that just because it's quite long, and I don't think I've got the time really to play the whole thing.
Mm,
But it was really fun. And the themes are really heavy, but it's done in in such a cool way. Got like the voices talking in her head, and you can hear all of her anxieties. Um, in the moments, just like in the moment to moment gameplay, every time something spooky happens or something goes wrong, there's like one voice supporting her and one voice saying like, "Oh, you're just useless. You need to get better. Get good, noob."
yeah.
And there's such a clever mix of psychological horror and uh, like mythological fantasy because you don't know you don't know whether the story is going to be that she's imagining it all or whether the mythology is real. And I know that's been done before. That's not all
Yeah.
that. That's pretty cliche, really. But to do it in historical context, I think is so clever because she's a Pict, and those people really did believe in all of those things. As far as they were concerned, those things were real. So if you did have like mental health issues and you started to lose grasp on reality, it actually wouldn't be that much of a huge leap to make to start seeing those things because as far as you're concerned, they're real anyway. It's actually when you think about it, we have to make a much bigger leap now because we've been conditioned to know that that stuff isn't real.
Yeah.
Um, it's just such a clever scenario, and it's never been done before. And honestly, as I was playing it, I was thinking, how has nobody ever thought of this before? It's brilliant.
Mm.
And the gameplay is really fun. It's just
I
that
heard it was
it's the
quick time
standard.
events, was it? Or it has a lot of quick time events? Did I hear something like that? Or it's my
Not that I
no.
saw.
Okay.
I played up to the first boss, and there's not so far anyway. I didn't get that far. Maybe it gets worse, but there wasn't even that much combat. It was more kind of puzzles mostly, and it's just the
Okay.
occasional combat. And the combat is the typical Dark Souls style combat. Really, it's getting to the point now where I just know how to play games that have that combat style. Like Hellblade doesn't give you any tutorials. It doesn't give you any button prompts. You know the way usually when you play a game for the first time and you get to your first battle, the enemy swings at you and then time stops and it goes press square to swing
Yeah.
back or press R1 to block. It didn't do that. It just threw me in and I had to just pick it up. I had to just figure it out. But luckily, it's the standard Dark Souls controls and it's the standard Dark Souls movements, and you got your heavy attack, light attack,
Mm.
dodge, block, parry. All that was there, and I just instantly knew what to do.
No, I
But
had the gameplay loop was different. I don't know. I didn't know that was the gameplay loop for the game. I don't know. I thought I had something different about it. So I need to try that at some point. I think I'd really enjoy it probably.
I think you would really like it. It's definitely up your alley.
Yeah, and they're making a second one too on top of that,
Mm.
which I don't know what that's gonna be like. Again, I don't know how the first one ends, so be interesting.
No, not sure how.
Ninja Fury also did Enslaved Odyssey to the West. I don't know what you thought of that, but that is something else they did, which was pretty
Right.
well received from what I recall.
Yeah, I think I forgot about that because I don't know hardly anything about that game.
I don't know
I
a
kind
lot.
of
I
forgot
just know it
about
was
it.
quite well received. That and
Fair enough.
like the DMC remake was like. I'm glad they just made Devil May Cry 5. That's what I wanted. Like as a Devil May Cry fan, that's what I wanted. The DMC remake was like it was okay, but it wasn't Devil May Cry. I think the problem was the branding for that game because it was a really it was like it was when did it come out? It was 2015. You know what, actually for its time it was definitely kind of like it was similar to other games that were doing that action style of combat where it had you'd have to switch between two different like abilities to like combat certain enemies. So it was like use your red abilities to fight the red enemies and blue abilities to fight the blue enemies.
Sounds kind of reductive to me.
Yeah, it took away from originally what Devil May Cry liked to do, where it was just like use as many weapons as possible to rack up points.
Fight as stylishly as you can.
Yeah,
That attitude. Yeah.
It did take away from that a little bit, but it was okay for what it was.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a cult following as time has gone on, really, hasn't it? I think it's way more popular now than it was when it released. Because I remember when it was released, it was more or less universally panned. But every now and then I hear good things about it. So there are people out there who seem to like it now. But maybe it's only maybe it's easier to enjoy now because we've got DMC5.
Yeah, we've got the MC5 now, so I can feel okay about that. I don't have to
It was
be like Capcom.
that's it.
Capcom are good now.
I mean, now it's just like a funny little side story to DMC. It's its own little separate spin-off, and that's fun and that's cute. You know, it was
Yeah.
back at the time when we thought that was what Devil May Cry was going to be going forward. I'm not surprised people were kind of terrified.
Yeah, because, I mean, there was so much lore behind the original Devil May Cry anyway, so they just kind of taken all that again. It was like and they've just reset, and they were doing like a different origin sort of story kind of thing, and you know how everyone feels about new origin stories. When it comes to anything, we've seen enough, okay?
And well, I mean, Dante was Dante in name only. Anyway, wasn't he? He was like a totally different character.
Yeah, he had like it looked like what they were trying to do was they were trying to build it up to the Dante he was in the original games. So at the very end of the original, but what I said at the very end of the DMC that Ninja Fury made, his hair turned white and stuff, and he has, I think he releases his Devil Trigger at the very end and stuff.
Right. Okay. That kind of makes sense.
But he's more so just like a kind of semi-serious sort of punk kid who has some of the traits that Dante had.
Yeah, I remember hearing that he was very brooding and like not as funny or charismatic as Dante could.
Yeah, he's a lot more serious.
Yeah,
there's a lot less comedy, but there is comedy, but it's not as much.
I remember there's one scene in it, isn't there, that really rubbed the fans the wrong way, where a Dante wig falls on his head.
So a mop falls on his head.
I think
it's a mop.
Is that what it's meant to be?
I think it's a mop, and he puts it on his head, and he's just also and he's like, he says something along the lines of, "You'll never catch me looking like that," or something, and everyone was just like. But you could actually get an original Dante skin as a DLC for that game as well, which also rubbed people the wrong way. Because it's like,
that's cheeky.
Yeah.
To say the least.
It's like, you know what we want, and you're making us pay extra for it. But yeah. That's my rant on DMC.
Fair. I don't think I have anything else to talk about in terms of things I've played, really. That's about it.
That's fair enough. Shall I talk about Arcade? No.
Yeah. Arcade's time, baby.
I mean, well, I played Arcade. There's not really much else to say about that, but we played Jack 2 as well, actually. We didn't talk about that.
Oh, we did? Yes, that's true.
That was a fun little experience to go back to. It's still really enjoyable, you know. I really like it. I think the shooting's fine. Should we debate?
Shooting is not fine. It's just you're just like, I'm sorry, but it's not even an opinion. You're just wrong. Like everyone's just accepted that the shooting is just ridiculous because you can't aim. Any situation, even now with better AI in games, any situation where the computer's controlling your aiming and not you, I'm not a fan. Because it can just go wrong so easily. And games were big on it back then. I think Jack was doing it because GTA did it. Like all the console GTA games on the PS2 had that auto aim where it just put a giant circle around the person, and your bullets would shoot somewhere within that circle. So if you were firing like an assault rifle, about 10% of your bullets would actually hit. It's just ridiculous.
But yeah, no, Jack 2 was it's a lot of fun. We're gonna keep playing that. I feel like we got pretty deep in for the first stream.
We definitely did, yeah. We got way further than I thought we would in like 4 hours. Maybe we played 5 hours though. I'm not sure.
I think we only played 4. I think. But yeah,
we did get through quite a lot.
I had a ton of fun with that. I'm looking forward to just reminiscing more with that game because and it's interesting to go back to and just relive. Everything feels, you know, it actually doesn't feel smaller. It feels like just how I remember it, weirdly. But that'd be one of those games that would feel smaller going back to it.
I can't talk too much about nostalgia because I do come back and play it every couple of years anyway. But I can't wait to have played all 3 of them kind of back to back in the way that we're planning to do, because I want to see how I'll stack them up all against each other, because I've never played them like that before. I've always just picked one out of the trilogy randomly and been like, I'll play that one for a little bit. So I can't wait to be able to see the whole series as one complete picture, and then decide what parts I like the most. I have a feeling I'm gonna like this one the least, but then I don't know. Jak 3 gets a lot of crap too, so we'll have to see.
Yeah,
But
I'm not sure because I think I think Jak 3 is like, I remember that being a really good game, but I remember liking Jak 2 more for some reason, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because you were like Jak 2 is the story is like you putting all the pieces together again in Jak 2 when you first get into this new world, and Jak 3 is like, I know there's a lot of new. I don't know why.
I mean, 3 did
A lot of
3
vehicle
has that.
combat as well.
It's that yeah. 3 has that issue that all of these like early like 3D mascot games seem to have. You'll notice this is a strange pattern with like 3D platformer mascots. When they always made 3 games, and the first game would be really odd and different, and it was still trying to kind of like find their feet. And then the second game would change a lot of things, refine the formula, make it perfect. And then the third game would be, well, we've got this perfect formula now. So I
do we
don't
do?
know, add some mini games and vehicles.
Yeah.
And Jak did that. Spyro did that. Crash did that.
Banjo.
Ratchet and Clank did it.
Banjo.
To an extent. Banjo didn't get a third. Oh no, Banjo did get a third game. I mean, I won't count that because that came like 10 years later, but that actually does fit. It fits the mold.
Sadly, it does.
Just because of that though, it does always mean that the third game, if you've played the second one and then if the third one comes out and you play that, as it comes out, you always get that feeling of, oh well, I'm just playing the second game again, but now with cars.
Yeah, I remember the cars being actually pretty good in 3 though. I remember it all being pretty well done. Which
it is, yeah.
Maybe
it
won't
is.
hold. I don't know. Maybe if it will feel weird. But you had that, and then you had like the light jack powers as well that they introduced, which I remember being really cool, and the story was really good in 3 as well. So I don't know why I like Jak 2 better. So.
Nothing's done badly. None of the additions are done badly. Everything's really good. Everything's the typical Naughty Dog polish that you'd expect. Really, it's more just that it's more or less the same game as Jak 2 with a couple of new additions.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Yeah, it can just feel a little bit like you're playing the same game again in some cases. So.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that's something we're gonna have to figure out when we get around to playing Jak 3. It'll be interesting to see how we feel when we go back to that.
Definitely, that's what. I know I've started talking about Jak 3, but that's at the minute that's what Jak 2 means to me. It's putting everything into context, and it's making me think I can't wait to play 3 so that I can then look at 2 and compare 2 and 3.
Yeah, and actually objectively look at them both and be like, okay.
Yeah. Because it's not as much of a fresh experience to me as it is for you. Like, you're getting a real nostalgia trip here, and you're playing these games for the first time in probably like a decade.
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
I pick them up every couple of years. So.
Yeah, so
I'm very retro like that. I love to just pick up an old game and.
Oh, yeah,
the glory days.
That is all you do, as far as I know. That and Yakuza.
Oh man! All right, I don't think I mentioned that on the podcast, did I? But I did finish Yakuza 6. I've officially played all the Yakuza games that are currently out in the West. Stop coughing. Sorry. And I started that in like September, so I got through them pretty quick. Because I think I started playing Yakuza 0 in September, so just barreled through them all. And my god, I wouldn't recommend it. They're very samey if you play them all back to back like that. They really don't have that much going on to differentiate them. A lot of them just reuse the same side stuff in many games actually, but but I don't regret doing it. Just wouldn't recommend.
There is also. Did you play Judgment as well? I don't know if you mentioned Judgment. Yeah,
I've not.
That's kind of different, is it not?
I've played probably like half Judgment. Judgment is different and it isn't different. No,
okay.
The main story is very different because it's kind of Ace Attorney style, detective stuff going on. You've got
yeah, I like that idea. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's not quite as exciting as like Ace Attorney or LA Noire. It's kind of half-baked, but I guess, it's the first try. Sorry. I
Yeah.
think if they make a Judgment 2, I reckon it'll be really good, but you could tell they were kind of finding their feet a little bit with it. But it's fun. It's okay. It's got, like, drones in it too and drone racing. But all the side stuff, it, which when you get to the side stuff and the side stories, you're basically just playing Yakuza again because you're still in Camera
Oh?
Rocho,
Oh,
and
we
it's
lost you
like
there
a
for a
year
sec,
after
Tef.
Yakuza 6.
Yeah, I think we caught all that, though. I think we're fine. You froze and then you sped right up and said everything at once.
Well, I'm speedy anyway. It's fine. You guys can keep
Yeah.
up. Yeah. So yeah, the outside of the main story, it just feels like Yakuza. It's the Dragon engine. It's the same engine Yakuza 6 and Kiwami 2 is on. It's still set in Kamurocho. Instead of side stories, you've got like side cases. It's similar to how I think in LA Noire you could pick up extra cases on the side.
Yeah, I think you could.
Yeah. It's like that. So the side stories tend to be more long, continuous stories rather than short one-off ones. Because Yakuza kind of mixes the two types together. You have some
Yeah.
short stories and some longer ones where you'll come across people multiple times. All of these are quite long because they're cases. And most of them are just as wacky as you'd expect for Yakuza. So
Which is good.
in practice, it's basically the same sort of thing again. So it's not all that different. I'd still recommend it if you like that sort of game. But it's not all that different. They make loads of games in this style. And it's always the same formula they follow. A lot of them haven't been released in the West. I know there's a Fist of the North Star game, which has been released in the West. So it's just Yakuza, but with a Fist of the North Star skin.
Okay.
There's Yakuza Ishin, which is not been released in the West. That you play as one of Kiryu's ancestors, and it's set in I think Sengoku era Japan, or like medieval era Japan anyway. But besides that, it's just Yakuza, but it's like historical Yakuza, and there's Yakuza Dead Souls, which did come out in the West.
Is that the zombie one?
Yeah, that's the zombie one. Yeah.
Was that? What are people's opinion on that one? What is
a lot of people, me included, want it to be re-released on PS4 so we can play it and laugh at it because it's kind of like so bad that it's funny sort of thing. But I think RGG Studio absolutely hate it because that game like single-handedly destroyed Yakuza in the West. And the reason why we didn't get any Yakuza games from like 2009 till 2017 when Yakuza 0 came out is because Dead Souls did so badly that they were scared to release any Yakuza games in the West. It just killed interest for Yakuza.
Like, as you were talking about the other Yakuza games, they mentioned it popped into my head that they made a zombie game, and I was like, oh yeah, there was a zombie Yakuza game. What even is that game? Like, how does that work? I don't know.
Well, it was all the rage at the time, wasn't it, to make zombie spin-offs?
People loved zombie games back in the day.
This is the same. I mean, everyone was just trying to get in on Nazi zombies, weren't they? And most attempts weren't any good.
Can't wait for the Yakuza Battle Royale.
Matter of time. Oh, I would play that though. Yeah, it's from what I've heard, it's basically just Red Dead Undead Nightmare. I think it came up before that, I think, but it sounds like it's pretty much the same concept. If anyone's played that, I played a little bit of that.
I've not played that, but I heard that was actually pretty good. People actually really enjoyed that expansion.
I actually bought that on the Xbox 360 store like 6 months ago because it was on sale for some reason. I think you can play it on Xbox One as well, so it was on sale, and I picked it up and played like a little bit of it, but I've not given it a proper go. I do really need to give it a proper go. I haven't even played Red Dead 2 yet, or finished Red Dead 1. I need to catch up. I really liked Red Dead 1, but I'm so far behind in the series now.
I mean, yeah, I've not played the new Red Dead either. I'll need to pick that up at some. I've got a lot of games that I need to like catch up with. I've just not been able to pick up. So, but Cyberpunk's definitely the one that I'm gonna be picking up. Like, if there's any game that I'm picking up, it's Cyberpunk. You know, that's the one I'm waiting for because I'm gonna spend a long time playing that game.
Big Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Pick up to 2077.
Other than that, I'm trying to think what else I played. I played more Sand. Sand was just yeah. Again, it's just like the base building sort of survival game. I mean, it's not really survival because you don't really need to survive anything, but it's like management game where you build up a base. You recruit more and more people. You can get vehicles. There's more I discovered there's more places in the game as well. There's this orphanage filled with kids, and the woman there's trying to sell the kids off to people. I did quests for her. She sent me to like a university and stuff to clear it out because it's filled with like skeletons. And then I come back, and then she's like, "Okay, I've left a gift back at your base." And then when you go back to your base, it's filled with screaming children running around. So I then went back to her, and then she was like, "Yeah, did you not appreciate the gift of children?" I was like, "No." So I had to do another quest for her to get rid of the children from my base. And then when I did that quest, she was like, "Well, it's okay. I've got another client who would like to father the children round back." And then you go round back, and there's just this really shady guy standing there. He's like, "Yeah, I'll take them off your hands. Like, I'll take care of them."
Very unsettling, and yeah. I can't quite figure out why.
And then I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll I mean, I want to get rid of them. I don't want any screaming children in my base, so take them off my hands." And then he was like, "Well, I mean, if you can't decide, if it feels..." Here, I found that pressing a button makes it, feel less impactful. So he then puts a button behind himself. He's like, "Yeah, just click the button, and I'll take care of the kids if you click the button." So there's just a big red button, and I just walked up to it, pressed it, and the kids were gone. Easy peasy. I like to imagine they all had bomb collars strapped to them.
Oh,
and the
yeah,
button,
yeah.
And the button just took care of them. Yeah,
Heads just pop like balloons.
But yeah, this is Sand, which is a really interesting. What's the subtitle for it? It's a superfluous game. Sand, a superfluous game, I think it's called.
Okay. I was going to ask you to send me a link to it because I was trying to find it when you were speaking about it last week. But if I search Sand on itch.io, I just get like those like falling sand physics games.
Yeah, actually, if you
Sand open world exploration and base building game.
Yeah, that's the one.
Right, got it.
But yeah, it's I don't know. I spent like a good amount of time playing that as well because it's one of those things where you can just sit down and waste time playing it. I got a llama that I could ride around, so I could ride around on the llama. And then I found a whole town filled with people where you could pick up quests from as well. And like each of the vendors in there, you have to do a quest for to open up their shop. And then you have to go to the mayor for the main story. And the mayor's like, "Go to this bandit camp." And a lot of the like actual locations that you go to that later on in the story are like you have to like connect up the electricity to certain doors to actually pass through. So there's like a tiny puzzle element to it. It's not really that big, but it's there's the like electricity element of like, hey, hook stuff up so you can open doors to get through to kill more stuff, essentially, and then you loot the place.
Really interesting.
It has a lot of potential. It is an alpha right now, so it's got a long way to go. It's got its issues. Okay, well there you go. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I can't quite put my finger on why, because nothing that you're saying sounds new or different. But just about how it's coming together, it sounds really fun and really kind of spooky too. I'm kind of interested by that, so give it a go.
I might be overselling it, but it is.
Well, it's the first indie game you've come back to
That's
on
true.
Indie Game Night, so that's enough for me to be interested in it.
I think it's one of those unlike the other demos I've played, it's one of those games that has a lot of potential for replayability. I can do it as much as I want. And there's a lot of there's still a lot to explore on the map because the map is all like hidden behind these squares that all have fog on them. So you have to essentially what you do is I go along the line and like dip in and out of squares to explore them, and I've been doing that. And there's a tent I set up, and I got like an ammo crate for my tent now. So I've got a shotgun, a rifle, and a pistol, and then got the ammo crate in my tent to reload every now and then, so I can keep going. Yeah, I got 2 mercenaries with me as well. So actually, one of the events I found was when I went to a bandit camp. There was 2 cages, and there was a bandit with a pink helmet locked in one of the cages, and then 2 snakes locked in the other. So I had to go through the whole bandit base, and when I got to the end of it, I could open up the cage. Well, originally I could actually open up the snake cage at first. I was like, oh, I can open the cage. I was like, oh no, that's just the snake pit. Probably shouldn't open that. But then a bunch of bandits came, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try and open this and try and get the snakes to fight the bandits. The snakes just came for me, unfortunately. But but it was a good plan. Yeah.
Far Cry, this is not.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it does that where they fight each other, but it looked like once they get aggro, they don't lose it. They just stay aggroed on you. But yeah, I got to the end. I opened up the cage, and then I went over to the bandit who had the quest, and apparently, his bandit friends locked him in there for whatever reason. Apparently, because he'd grown soft or something. He talks like a caveman, and he's like, you know what, I'll join you, and then you can have him round as a follower. So I've got that bandit that follows me around with a gun, and then I also have some mercenary that I hide from a farm. And the bandit enrages every now and then, and I don't know what the enrage does. I just assume he does more damage, but he gets a big red thing around his head, and he's like, "Rawr." So I'm just like, okay.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of content for an alpha.
Yeah, that's. I think it's because it's like a very open game. My one problem is it's also they don't really they give you rough directions for where stuff is in the game, but So they were like, yeah, directly north of the base, and I went all the way north and just kept exploring the squares north, and I was like, I don't see this thing, so I had to go a little to the west as well and explore around there, and I eventually found what I was looking for. But yeah, other than that, it's fun. You do have the electricity element for your own base as well. I started automating some stuff. It's got a lot of fun stuff like that.
Can I ask you, this is sort of related to what you were playing, because you were playing Arcade while you were doing it, but I'm just wondering what your overall thoughts were on the Ashes little sort of Q&A thing.
Yeah,
that they created it.
I was going to mention that, but that was a very interesting thing to watch. I don't know if everyone stayed for a long time watching that, but he said a lot of the right things when I was watching that. It sounds like I mean, it sounds like it is gonna be that next generation of MMO that we've been waiting for. My issue with it is I'm not sure if some of the content they're putting in is gonna grow stale, because it sounds like it's gonna be a lot of I don't know, I guess it's pre-generated content that'll just change as stuff evolves, and I feel like some of this is gonna be very similar in different areas. I was watching a gameplay preview of one of the dungeons in the game, and so all the dungeons, I don't know if all of them are, but most of them are actually in the open world, so they're not instanced, so people can actually all be in the same dungeon at once and tagged mobs. And a lot of the rooms in the dungeon look kind of similar, but there were some rooms that look really cool as well, and I don't know if that's going to reflect on dungeons in the rest of the world, because I know he mentioned how depending on the node and the type of races that are in that node, the dungeon will change and stuff like that. So even the architecture of towns will change depending on how many of a certain race are there, what level the node is, and stuff like that. I find it really fascinating, though. I'm actually really looking forward to it. It sounds like it's got something for everyone in it. It's gonna be, I don't know where you go after you reach this point in an MMO. If they deliver on all their promises, which the guy's living in a palace, for anyone that watched the AMA, he's in some marble palace being like, yes, I just wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about the game, and I'm like, where's this guy living?
Home.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of money to throw on it, and he seems invested, because he's like, listen, I put a lot of money into this game. I'm gonna make this game work. So,
how big is the team at the moment? Because that's usually the deciding factor on games with a scope like this.
I don't actually know the exact size, but I know they're still recruiting. Yeah, because literally every time they throw out a hiring thing, Zolt retweets it and goes, "All right, guys, go join the team, please. I need to play this game." And I'm like, okay. I'm kind of curious.
Seen him retweeting that.
Yeah, I'm curious what the Ashes Creation team size
I'm trying to find it myself now. So they're called
It's brought up.
Intrepid.
It's brought up the party size. So parties are 8 players as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, I've made that mistake too.
Yeah.
Okay. So Intrepid Studios team leads. Well, they've got a lot of team leads. Not they're just the leads. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 13. And they're just the leads. So
I mean,
presumably the hiring at the moment is that they're hiring like the underlings to go under those guys.
yeah.
Um,
And this has been in development for a while as well. I also got to look at like some of the combat effects and stuff, and everything for pre-alpha just looks really good. You know?
Well, they've already got an engine up and running, haven't they? Because they've got that Ashes of Creation Apocalypse game, which I think is already, people have played it. It's in closed beta, and it's going to be coming out soon. So the combat and the engine's already there. That's relatively speaking. I think for most games you'd be thinking, well, that's most of the game done. But for these guys, that's the tip of the iceberg. The hard work is yet to come, really.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine like there's still a lot of work they want to do on stuff, and it's one of those things where they were talking about how the combat that was like purely to test the combat before they took it into the MMO world, and they're like, the idea is they want to have a hybrid between tab targeting and action focused combat, which is something Arcade does as well. Actually, Arcade has certain abilities where you have to aim them and certain abilities where you have to tab target, and Arcade does it really well actually. So I imagine that's what they're probably going to be going for in the main game. And they were showing off some other abilities, like there was some particle effects. They were showing off like a big water beam that they can shoot out, and there was talk about how the abilities change depending on how you decide to level them. So you can like focus on a certain ability, and it'll make that ability stronger. So for the water beam, for example, it's like a aimed beam that you aim with your mouse, and as the beam gets more powerful, like with the first level, when you hit a player with the beam will like stop and hit them, and there'll be like an effect. But as it goes up, it'll actually go through players and hit other players as well, and stuff like that. And there was also talk about, I don't know exactly if this was to do with class, but depending on like your subclass or something along those lines, the way certain abilities work will change. So he gave the example of, there was some sort of like teleport charge or something, where if you combined a certain like two abilities, the charge would just turn into a teleport, and you just teleport to the player instead of charging towards them and having that actual sort of time in between, closing the gap between the two players, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I think Zolt was talking about this on the last podcast. I think it was actually during our break. It was while you were gone to get a drink during a break, and he went into great detail. Actually, shame we didn't do it while we were live, actually, but it was one of those things where we had to take a break, and he just wasn't ready. He needed to keep talking about it, and he kind of explained that. He said, it's one of those systems that's not anything new, but I have a feeling they're going to just handle it really well, because he seems to really know what he's talking about. So you'll always have a primary class and a secondary class.
Yeah.
And based on how you pick them, that's going to define your skill tree. Your skill tree will change, and what abilities you have is based on that, which isn't really anything new.
Yeah, Arcade did that.
Yeah, I think. Well, World of Warcraft's done that, really, hasn't it? Because you get to a certain level, and then you can spec into a subclass within your class, can't you? So it's not all that different from that either, really. And in fact, Guild Wars 1 had that. You at a certain point, I think like halfway through the level cap, which wasn't even that high in Guild Wars 1, but like halfway through your level cap, you'd pick a second class, and then you'd get some of their skills from their skill tree. That's the main thing to take away from all the stuff we've heard about Ashes, though, isn't it? Most of the stuff he's doing actually isn't all that innovative, outside of the nodes and the player-driven world, which is very EVE.
Very ambitious. It's very ambitious as well.
Because that's never been done in a 3D like MMO before. That's very innovative, yeah. But everything else it's just he's taken bits of everything from all the MMOs that he's played, and he's just as an MMO player himself, he's going, this is what I think will be the most fun based on the experiences I've had.
Yeah,
Because he's a player, he's not a suit, and that's
which is
refreshing
cool.
when you
Yeah.
compare him to Blizzard. It's very refreshing.
Yeah, I think in terms of what he was talking about with the teleport chat, it sounded like he was talking about something other than subclasses, which I wasn't aware of. But I'm not sure if that was just the way he was wording it at the time. I don't know if there's another system there that I was missing. But I don't know, it sounded like it'd be some sort of way to differently level the abilities or something. I don't know. Maybe similar to how Arcade has like an ancestral system where certain abilities you can change. And you can like pick how you want to go with an ability later on in the game. So
right,
like
that makes sense. Yeah,
there's a
that's quite
backstab
common
ability.
too, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
I think it's been a while since I played it, but I think Warframe did that. As you sort of used abilities, you'd get skill points in them, and you'd use those skill points to specialize the ability further.
Yeah, Guild Wars 2 kind of have that as well. It had. I remember you level abilities. Oh,
I should remember this. I was only playing it like a couple of months ago. I can't really remember now.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I remember you like put points into certain specs, and then it would level certain abilities. But I think like it gave you new abilities, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, the skill trees in Guild Wars are very, very World of Warcraft. They're not. They're more World of Warcraft than sort of Arcade and that style.
Yeah, but
just rigid skill trees, and you pick which ones you want to spec into.
I don't know. I'm really interested. I really want to play this game, and Stephen, if you can hook me up with the alpha, I'd appreciate it. Just DM me on Twitter. I follow Ashes of Creation. Wink, wink, wink. Just let me know. I have a YouTube channel. I talk about MMOs on there.
I'm still on Intrepid's website, by the way. I'm currently on the careers page, and they've got 18 job listings on there at the moment. Okay. So they're expanding. They're going to be dummy thick by the end of the year.
It is a big project, so any MMO is a massive undertaking, but this is like on a scale we haven't really seen before, I suppose. Yeah,
they're going to need hundreds of people.
Yeah. And if they deliver, though, this is going to be like the MMO. This is going to be the next generation of MMO. It's not going to be the WoW killer. There will never be a WoW killer. WoW will kill itself. That's what will happen. Blizzard one day will just be like, you know what? We're going to go take WoW. Come on, WoW. We're going up back. Don't.
Time to tend the rabbits.
Yeah. We'll be with the rabbits soon.
I mean, if Ashes takes 2 or 3 years to come out, which I think it's going to take more like 5, honestly. I reckon by the time Ashes comes out, WoW could be dead. It's had a very downward trajectory these days.
Yeah, I think.
WoW anyway. Actually, I just remember the Classic exists, and that's given it a kind of second wind. But
WoW is actually complicated because people play Classic, and there's some people that really enjoy Classic, and there's some people who just really didn't like Classic after going back to it. Like a lot of the streamers that went back to Classic are like, yeah, I don't want to play Classic anymore. Like they played it for a bit, and it's like, yeah, we'll play it every now and then, but we'll stick to retail. Because the community built around Classic WoW is very, I don't know, I've had stories about them being very hateful. It's very drama centric, and a lot of people don't want to be involved in that stuff. Surprise, surprise. But
that's sad.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but it's the way it goes, I guess.
That's just the way it goes.
But yeah,
anyway, all aboard the hype train. Choo choo.
Yeah, all aboard the hype train. We're going straight to Ashes of Creation. Let's go. I really can't wait. Like when that game comes out, I will be streaming it. That's if I'm around when it comes out. Who knows? Maybe I'll be cancelled. Who knows what'll happen?
Just the way it goes.
But I think WoW actually is probably still got quite a long lifespan because Shadowlands looks like it's going to be pretty good. A lot of people are pretty happy with the way it's turning out, and Blizzard have been a lot better with communication lately. Like they've had Ian Sakostas or something. I don't know what his name. I don't know what his name is. I don't know what his second name is. But he's been doing interviews with a lot of like streamers and a lot of YouTubers and stuff who are like big in the community, which is, I mean, it's not new, but it's it's been a while since Blizzard have been this forward about stuff, I suppose. So it's a better look for them. Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's all we've been playing this week, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's taken us to the hour mark.
It has taken us to the hour mark.
Somehow.
I don't know. We've only got to the news yet, and I padded the news just so we'd have more to talk about. But hey,
we could ramble
that's just the way it goes.
That's just the way it goes.
Okay. Should we go take a quick 10-minute break then, and we'll come back, and then we'll jump right into the gaming news?
Yeah, boy.
All right, so we'll be back in 10 minutes. Go get yourself a cup of tea. Go get some, refill your popcorn, whatever you want to do, and we'll be back. And we're back.
Hello.
Welcome back. Now, gaming news. There has not been a lot this week. No. But I padded it out anyway. We got a bit to talk about.
I think of 5 of the articles that you've sent me are all about the same topic, more or less. They're all about the same game. That's what's
Yeah, that's why I squeezed them all together, because I was like, we could talk about that. It's all good.
It's one of our favourite series to talk about at the minute too, so
Can anyone guess what it is? Any guesses? I wonder. It's Halo. We're talking about Halo again. We do. Oh. The problem, it was actually cutting out a little bit, so we were just hearing every now and then. It just sounded very strange. Okay, very cool. But yeah, so we'll start off with Halo the Master Chief Collection and the stuff that's happening with that. So it is going to be getting crossplay, which is interesting.
It blows my mind that it didn't have it from day one, honestly. I remember for a while I just assumed that it did, but
I mean, I feel like the problem is just the people playing on console are just going to get spat on, I
was waiting for you to say that, because that's usually the case, but that's not going to be the case with Halo, because everybody says the aim assist on the controllers is actually so strong. It's so strong in Halo that you're actually better off with the controller than a mouse and keyboard. So I think it's going to be the other way around. It's going to be harder for us to play online when this comes out, because there's going to be more controller scrubs with aim assist.
Yeah, so this has been a topic that's come up a few times when it comes to
every time
crossplay
with PC.
Yeah,
this is an issue.
Especially
with shooters.
I'm sure, is this an argument in Fortnite as well? People using controllers in Fortnite and people getting upset over the aim assist?
Yeah.
I feel like I remember a lot of streamers getting very upset with that. And then Sea of Thieves as well had this issue, which you can't really resolve it. Like, they need the aim assist. I don't know if you've tried using a stick on a controller, but you try and aim with this thing, you're going over that way, you're going over this way. It's not a good time unless you got aim assist. So it's the only way people can actually properly aim. But then it has the issue of, well, I guess unless you're like a pro shooter, like, I don't know, unless you're like Shroud and you are literally an aimbot in human form, you're gonna run into people who just have aim assist and gun you down. You're like, oh, that guy is either really good at the game or is using the controller.
Might have to switch over to using a controller myself if this becomes standard and with cross-playing in the future.
Yeah, I think I just prefer using mouse and keyboard anyway, but it is a thing people talk about a lot. But I don't know, like shooting people in Halo is it's had some issues though, especially with Halo 3.
It has.
So
I wasn't aware of this, but I don't think I've played any precision game modes online on Halo 3, so maybe that's probably why I've not noticed.
I feel like I'm not really. No, I feel like I did. I felt it, but I didn't really notice it because I was just like, oh, maybe this is just how it is, I wasn't really paying too much attention.
Hit detection in Halo feels very old-fashioned now anyway. It doesn't quite feel right anyway. It might probably just its age, or maybe it is just MCC, I'm not sure. But in all of the Halos we've played, and I know we've both commented on it in Reach, something doesn't quite feel right anyway. So we probably didn't even realize it was a Halo 3 specific issue.
I think in Reach it feels okay. Like one it definitely feels different because that's just a thing. It's old.
That's just age.
Yeah. 3. It makes a lot of sense that there's a bit of a hit detection because Reach in 3 wasn't a big leap in terms of how the guns felt. I don't know. There was definitely some differences, but the way you aimed and stuff didn't like it all. It felt pretty similar from what I remember back in the day. I've definitely had. It felt weird for me playing 3 and Reach. I've noticed actually because I feel like I haven't been playing as well in 3. I don't want to put this on hit detection, but the article's out there. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, maybe we should probably explain what's actually going on with the hit detection.
You just want to take it away?
The article is that my thing? Okay. Well, it's basically because Halo 3 was designed to be played at 30 frames per second on the 360.
Yeah.
Obviously, the problem with all these Halo games, problem
They're now
with
60.
porting them in general, is they were all built to go on one very specific console, and that allows developers to use all kinds of trickery around that console specific hardware in order to get the games to work. When you're translating that to any other hardware, there's always going to be issues.
Yeah.
This is actually, to be fair, not really one of those issues. It's more about the fact that they're trying to upgrade the game, and the game was never designed to be upgraded. They never thought about it going on a different console, so they never thought they'd have to deal with 60 FPS.
Yeah.
And when you bump the game up to 60 frames per second, it bumps some of the game speed up to 60 frames per second as well. So the processor's operating at 60 ticks instead of 30. And any game where this happens, it causes all kinds of wacky stuff with the physics. And it does just basically mean that because it's running at 60 ticks and it's calculating 60 times a second instead of the 30 that the entire engine was built around, sometimes the bullets are just going wide and it's miscalculating the physics.
Yeah.
It's basically that. It's actually a common problem with games like this. Any game where game speed is tied to the frame rate, it's going to be an issue.
They have said they're working on it, and they don't want to just, cap it to 30 and throw on a band-aid and, call it a day.
Yeah. They did say they have no idea how to fix it. They don't know what to do, but they're going to do their damned hardest, they said. Which, fair play. I actually really appreciate that honesty. 343 are really good at that. They're really straight up and honest. I think I'm the only person in our little group who reads their blog posts on Halo Waypoints.
I definitely don't.
Really good.
Yeah.
I don't even think Ziff does, honestly. And you'd think that he would, but
they're
so honest and upfront. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know, like, hopefully they get that fixed. I feel like Halo 3, the Forge as well, has some issues. I'm hoping they fix all that, it has just launched, and it's weird that they didn't notice the Forge issues that I experienced. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's caused by a change that they made. That's
their
own fault.
I don't know how they didn't test this and be like, oh, wait a minute, that doesn't work.
Literally, as soon as you put that feature in, you'd be like, "Oh, hang on, we didn't consider that. That doesn't work. Let's remove it or let's alter it." It's just stupid. Yeah.
It may be a case of because they were trying to rush Forge out for PC, because they
probably
because they'd been like, "Oh yeah, you'll get Forge," and they've been saying that for a while now, and they were like, "Okay, we're releasing Halo 3 now. We need to have Forge out at this point."
And I think it's very obvious what's happened with MCC as well, because 343 said at the very start, the games will come out when they're ready. We're not going to rush it. But then, Infinite comes out at the end of the year, and it's very obvious that Microsoft are pushing them to have the MCC be finished before Infinite comes out.
Yeah.
So,
they want people to buy MCC, and actually they want to build a pipe for Infinite. They want people playing Halo.
Yeah. I think eventually MCC and Infinite are going to become like the two platforms for Halo, and you're going to have modern Halo on Infinite and classic Halo on MCC. They're probably going to have to take Halo 5 and put it in one of those platforms. I don't know which one. I guess probably fits more in Infinite, but maybe not. I'm not sure.
I'm wondering if MCC might just be integrated with Infinite, and it'll be part of It's like one section of Infinite where it's like you can just go back. It's just like the legacy side or something. Where it's like you go
possibly. That's a possibility too. Yeah.
in.
It's gonna be interesting. It will be interesting to see what they do with 5 because they're gonna have to bring that to PC. They can't have every game except 5 on PC. That would just be stupid.
They just want to forget about 5. It's like, forget about 5.
do.
Didn't happen, guys.
And it was awful. But I don't think they're going to be able to. I've not even played it. It's just it's well known that it's awful. I don't think they'd be able to just kind of put it into Infinite's engine all nice and smooth because it's actually got better graphics than Infinite. So far, based on that trailer and the breakdowns that like people like Digital Foundry and that have done, and it's not me, being facetious. It genuinely does have better graphics than 6 rather, because Halo Infinite is intentionally downgrading its graphics so that you can get 1080p 60 frames per second on the base Xbox One, which was which was like a low to mid tier console in 2013. So.
But I mean, they have said they're working on it. The build we saw was one from a few weeks back. It wasn't final build. It'll get improved. They're working on stuff. There was stuff they didn't even recognize was an issue that they're now working on. According to 343, they're fixing it. Yeah, they'll definitely clean it up. But
I think what they're going for, and if they pull it off, it will look great. It's that classic soft lighting look, which works really well with like lower graphical fidelity. It hides a lot of that like low fidelity. If you just put that nice soft lighting on it, like trying to think of examples. Life is Strange sort of does that, and it looks gorgeous. Even though the
Team Drama Simulator,
texture's crap, and the models aren't very good either. But the lighting is spot on. I think that's what they're going for. They've completely buggered up the lighting somehow. I think it's got to be the shaders or something along those lines, doesn't it? Because the lights just does not. The colors aren't right. Doesn't quite reflect properly. But if they fix that, I think
it's got a way to
really
go.
Nice. It'll look a little bit cartoony compared to how we used to with Halo, but it'll look lovely. I think we've done right.
I'm now imagining how like horrific Life is Strange would look if it didn't have all the lighting over it. If it was just very dark. And
it's got a gritty like grey Gears of War lighting and stuff.
Yeah, I mean it. I've seen all of Life is Strange. I've watched it, but it's not for me. I'm not about the team drama simulator.
It's too emotional for you. You need to know what an emotion is to understand it. So.
Listen, I could get behind the one kid with superpowers in the second one. That was interesting. I'm not like time's cool and all, but too much like teen drama simulator stuff. They're in the school. You got that one typical girl that's like, I'm the popular girl. You're not invited to my party. Not about that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It was a little bit tropey in places.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with that, honestly. I know exactly which girl you mean as well.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
I think she's called Victoria. I don't know why.
It is actually. That's right.
But she's not great. They do try to give her some depth and be like, oh, she's not as horrible as she seems. It's just a facade she puts on. But like that is the most base level cliche twist to have it in that character archetype. They also have the
exact same thing with the typical stepdad that the teenager doesn't like, but the stepdad was actually he's just trying his best all along. I'm pretty sure they do that as well.
They do, that's right, yeah. But that creates one of those funny situations where they justify what he's doing. They explain why he's doing those things, but you're still like, okay, fella, but it's still really creepy. Don't do those things. I don't care whether you've got good intentions. You don't do
Sorry
these
you've
things.
got PTSD from the army and whatever, but stop.
He was taking like voice shots of teenage girls and setting up cameras in high schools. That's never okay, pal. I'm sorry. Don't care whether you've been to the NAM.
How did we get on Life is Strange?
I don't know, we were talking about Halo. I've got a Halo tab open, but I'm talking about Life is Strange.
Let's go back to Halo. We'll complain about Life is Strange another day.
I think we actually covered all our Halo topics there.
No, we didn't actually, because we didn't talk about how Infinite's multiplayer is rumored to be free to play.
Oh God, we didn't. Yes, that's very interesting, isn't it?
That is very interesting. It makes a lot of sense, though. I could see them doing this, pushing this out as free to play, pulling in a bunch of the audience, and then chuck them in a battle royale. Get some skins in there.
I mean, you joke, but MCC is putting a lot of modern things in there. I can imagine that going the same way if they've just added skins and a battle pass to MCC.
True, but they haven't monetized it in a really egregious way, like a lot of games do.
Yet, anyway.
Yes. But
so it's not clear. I don't know whether maybe it's been clarified elsewhere, but I assume you're not going to need Xbox Live Gold. Actually, on this Eurogamer article, they say that they don't know for certain because
people have been there's been rumors that people might not even need gold with the next iteration. Like they're gonna just integrate it with the Game Pass, which is bizarre to me. I feel like they'd still make you pay for gold. That feels like very good value, which is why I'm like,
but it wouldn't be all that different from what PlayStation's been doing for like a decade now with PS Plus having since the start. Actually, no, it would have been since 2013. Since the PS4 came out, PS Plus was online multiplayer and free games every month, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I guess it's not all that different.
I guess Xbox Game Pass seems to just have more value to it, though, doesn't it? It seems to it gives a lot, and then you have the PC as well.
Yeah, you get much better games on Game Pass. I can't confirm now. There's some really good stuff on there, and PS Plus is not that good anymore. Do you remember back in the PS3 days, you used to get like AAA games like 6 months after they came out. They just give them away.
I do remember that, yeah.
And I missed that because I didn't have a PS3, and then I got it for PS4, and I was hyped. And
got a bunch of indie games.
Got a bunch of indie games, whole bunch of indie games. Yeah, it never really.
No, and you'd already played them as well.
I actually had already played most of them, yeah.
Yeah, no surprise there, but yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious where Xbox is gonna go because they seem to be doing a lot of really good stuff for the consumer. Which I'm like, where's the caveat? I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for the catch. I'm being like, we're all gonna get on the Game Pass and then they're gonna like hypnotize us or something. I don't know what's gonna happen. We're all gonna be brainwashed and forced to buy every new edition of the console that will release. There'll be a monthly subscription for the console that releases.
That's a matter of time. You joke.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like they're doing really good stuff, and I'm really happy to see the direction Microsoft is going at the moment. Which is weird because not a lot of people have been praising that. I don't know if you've noticed. There's been a lack of praise for that kind of stuff. I've seen a lot of people just being like, "Oh, PlayStation's doing great, guys. Look at all this PlayStation stuff."
Yeah, I think it's because it's hard to compare to PlayStation now. This isn't really a console war anymore because now we've got two consoles which aren't competing in Nintendo and Sony, and now we've got a platform. And I think people just don't know how to deal with that. You can't compare it anymore.
I also think there's going to be the children that are all part of the console war stuff that are just like, yeah, look at all the games, the PlayStation, we got more exclusives than you. Exclusives, aren't they great? Yeah.
I mean, that is what sells a console at the end of the day. I mean,
it is, but it's not great for consumer.
No, it's not really.
No.
And you know what? Fair play to Microsoft. They've got me into the ecosystem, and I'm in all three gaming ecosystems now for the first time ever, all at once. I'm paying for that Game Pass. I've got Xbox. I don't need to have a console. Maybe I'll get one later down the line, but there's not really much of a point right now. What I've got is more powerful than an Xbox One. I'm paying for that Game Pass. I've got a Switch. I'm paying for Nintendo Switch Online and buying all this £50 Nintendo game.
Oh,
I've got a PlayStation. Fair play to Xbox because up until a few months ago, I had no reason to even consider getting into the Xbox ecosystem because there was no exclusives.
Yeah.
And there was no reason for me to buy an Xbox One because it's exactly the same as a PS4. It's actually, even if I'm comparing base models, it's a little bit weaker. And the games, honestly, didn't, the Xbox One was never really aimed at core gamers, was it? It was aimed at that very specific type of gamer who just wants to play FIFA and Call of Duty
Yeah.
for the most part. It was never aimed at me. But then all of a sudden, it's offering me all these fantastic games in a subscription. I don't even have to buy an Xbox for it. It's they've pulled me in.
Yeah,
That's really impressive.
they've done some really good stuff, and honestly, like, I don't like I'm not as interested. I'm trying to think what I'm interested in with PlayStation, like for the next generation. I don't know what's got me being like, I really need a PlayStation 5.
I think for me, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but
Demon
that
Souls, I
said,
guess,
I
remastered.
I trust Sony to give us better exclusives. Though they've got so many good studios at the moment, and Microsoft have long had good studios and ran them into the ground and ruined them, and they're promising a lot now. They are promising a lot these days, but they're using studios that they've destroyed, and that they're trying to rebuild those studios, and all the good personnel's gone. So I won't be convinced that those games will be good until they're out and they're getting praised. Honestly, I just know that I'm safe in Sony's hands right now.
I mean, yeah, Sony. Go on, what were you gonna say? Let you finish.
I was just going to say, you're right. I can't think of anything that's jumping out to me as a must-have on the PS5 right now.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Demon Souls Remastered, I want to play that, but I don't care that much.
Not worth buying a whole console for,
no.
is it, to play a remaster of like a 13-year-old game?
Yeah, I mean, Sony are doing a lot of good stuff, and like they'll actually, I don't. It's like I wish we could have a situation where all the you could play any game on any console you want. You could play it on PC. I feel like there's always going to be some exclusives though, at least. And as long as Sony are putting a lot of money into funding these games and giving these devs the time they need to produce really good games, then I'm happy with that. I mean, for a while now, there's been rumors that Sony have purchased some sort of right to make a Silent Hill game, and Kojima would be involved in it in some form, which is really odd. But that's been a big rumor that's still going right now. And among these rumors, Konami even tweeted out a little Silent Hill 2 audio clip, which in the end actually just turned out to be it turned out to be to do with Dead by Daylight. It was like, oh no guys, sorry, this was for Dead by Daylight. We're not teasing a new game. It was Dead by Daylight, guys. I don't know.
Oh boy, did the internet get hyped for this.
Yeah, especially among all these rumors, they were just like, oh, people thought we were making a new Silent Hill game. Now, it could be go on, I'll let you go.
I don't want to be that guy to be like, oh well, I never believed it in the first place. I'm more intelligent than you. It's not that. I
am more intelligent than all of you.
I didn't believe this for a second, but I didn't believe this for a second, and it's not because I'm more intelligent than you. Although that's true, that's not lying. It's really sad, but I saw all this and I thought, no, don't trust Konami. There's no way.
No.
And how depressing is that? I know. I've accepted now that they're just not going to make another one.
With the rumors being so strong, it's like, I don't know, maybe they could somehow get Sony to get the license or get some sort of agreement where they could make the game or take the IP just to make a game. And like, I really hope they do in some way actually get that, but it's also Konami, and I don't trust Konami to do anything right. It's because it's Konami. And we all know who Konami are. They're over there with the pachinko machines. The best you're getting is a Silent Hill Survive, I don't...
Honestly... Sorry.
Go on, no.
No, I think it's just time to give up on Silent Hill anyway. I don't think we really need that franchise. There's nothing special about that IP itself that we need in order to make a good Silent Hill game elsewhere. In fact, the best Silent Hill game...
That's the sign of a defeated man.
No, listen. What I'm saying is, if he wanted to make a good horror game, why does it need to be a Silent Hill?
Yeah.
There's nothing special about Silent Hill. By definition, it was just a Jacob's Ladder adaptation essentially anyway. In the first place, it wasn't doing anything special in terms of horror. Um, you could just make a psychological horror and call it something else, and it would still be Silent Hill. You know, it's like the way Bloodstained is still Castlevania.
Yeah.
Just do that. You don't need the name. There's nothing special about Silent Hill. You might miss
Even
Pyramid
like,
Head, but honestly,
yeah,
Pyramid Head should stay in Silent Hill 2
just
anyway.
have Cuphead, you know, switch it up. But I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, if they were to make a Silent Hill game, they should know that it'll sell well. They should, like, with Resident Evil and everything, and all the success the survival horror genre's actually gotten, they should be like, you know what, a Silent Hill game would do really well. So it seems like something that if they wanted to make a new one, if they wanted to make some money, it would be a pretty good idea to put one out there, just to give it a go. And like, I guess some people saw this as them testing the waters with the tweet and the Dead by Daylight stuff, which, like, I hope that they can make another Silent Hill game that's good. But at the same, I don't trust it. I can't at this point. I'm just at that point. I'm too, like, I have no faith in Konami doing anything right.
I have no hope.
No hope. But yeah, I mean, like you said, Resident Evil,
crusty scab.
Like, Resident Evil's done like some very different stuff as of late, which, I don't know. We also had The Evil Within, which before that, which did some different stuff as well, and they all do stuff very similar to what Silent Hill did anyway. You know, Silent Hill it had a bit more. Well, it was a bit more puzzle focused. I don't know. I'm trying to think. It had a lot more puzzles in Silent Hill, or it felt a lot more. But yeah, they're all very similar, and I feel like they could do similar stuff if they really wanted to, but just not under the name Silent Hill. It wouldn't surprise me if Konami was working on something, or not Konami, Kojima was working on something related.
The rumor mill's been turning about that as well, hasn't it? I know there was a rumor that he was speaking to
Del Toro.
The
Japanese artist. Yeah.
Junji Ito. There was rumor that he was speaking to him again, because Junji Ito was originally I was going to say he was like billed to design the monsters, but that turned out to not be true. That was the rumor for PT. It turned out that they'd basically consulted him for about 5 minutes on PT, but he did want him to be involved, and now there's rumors that they've been talking again. So who knows? Next game could actually be this horror game that Kojima's wanted to make. Because again, why does Kojima need the Silent Hill IP in order to make?
Yeah, he definitely doesn't. PT was not unlike Silent Hill anyway. Like, I realized it was just a playable teaser, but what he was going for in that was not unlike Silent Hill, and it also had a big effect on the horror genre in general. A lot of people were like doing stuff very similar, because it did some really cool stuff, which I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he could definitely go ahead and just make a horror game if he really wanted to, and he's done with Death Stranding now, so he's open to do a new project. And it's like, I would really enjoy playing a Kojima horror game if he manages to make one at some point. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if you saw chat. I mean, we're like right at the end, pretty much, aren't we?
Yeah, we should barrel through the last few articles, because we're going to go over time.
All right, so now that I'm done punching Konami, shall we go down to kicking Ubisoft?
Oh yeah, kick them when they're down.
Yeah. So another Ubisoft exec. Well, he was a co-vice president, correct?
Vice president of editorial and creative services, apparently.
Has left the company amid the abuse allegations. So it's another one gone, which is good. Nice to see them still clearing house. I still think, whatever his name, I can't pronounce the CEO's name, but he should step down. I think he should be gone. But that's just me.
Well, the whole company is clearly like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
I, I don't think any amount of reform is actually going to change this, short of kicking out everybody and starting from scratch.
Yeah, I mean, this is a situation where it's like, I think at least he should step down, you know, and shuffle someone else in as CEO, because he was overseeing the whole company. He was the captain of the ship, and he messed up. You know, he wasn't. He let this slide under his rules, so to speak. So he should step down, honestly. But that's my opinion on it. I'm glad to see them still clearing house, though. Hopefully, we'll see more along those lines, and you know,
Sure,
maybe
he's gotten a golden handshake though. He got a month paid leave.
yeah, they've all got golden parachutes, haven't they?
Yeah. He's even admitted that he was given a month paid leave, and then he was, I presume, told to leave the company, but I'm sure he was given a nice redundancy package for that.
It's one of those things where I feel like people like that shouldn't really be getting jobs in the industry again, but they're probably just gonna get a nice golden parachute, and they'll probably get put into another company anyway, somewhere.
That's great. Yeah, they'll go to Blizzard or Activision Blizzard or EA somewhere, just to
And then just to lay low, and then we'll all forget about them because we're not going to remember the names exactly.
But there's been so many names as well.
Yeah,
isn't there? Just wouldn't be possible.
But I mean,
yeah,
that's
Tommy Francois, bit of a
bye-bye.
dickhead. Glad he's gone.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Francois.
But yeah, that's another one bites the dust. So, you know what? We actually didn't mention this with the Sony thing, but there's a State of Play coming on the 6th as well, which is not interesting though, because there's not going to be any PS5 stuff. That's what I've read.
No, there will be PS5.
Well, there will, but any news,
third-party stuff.
Yeah, it's all going to be third-party games, but it's not going to. They've mentioned it's not going to be new. Probably, it's not going to be anything surprising when it comes to that.
Yeah, it's just going to be third-party and indie games. I doubt there's going to be any announcements. Probably just get to see some games that we've not actually seen.
Maybe there'll be a surprise in there. Who knows? That'd be kind of cool.
That would be nice.
We'll see. Silent Hill.
I love that Sony have literally come out and made it very clear. Don't get hyped. This is very low key.
Yeah.
And you're just still there going,
Silent Hill. But Silent Hill, though, guys, just like, I'm not even a big Silent Hill fan. I'm not like you're probably a bigger fan of Silent Hill than me, but I just think it'd be cool. Cool to see.
I mean, it would. You're not wrong. I guess.
Please the internet.
please.
But yeah, other than that, we can also talk about how Valorant. We'll move on to Riot now. Valorant is getting a new agent, and deathmatch mode is coming in the latest season, which I believe comes out in the next few days, right?
Yes, 4th of August.
Yeah. So actually, tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Yeah.
I thought it was a little later than that. Never mind. But yeah.
That's when the Battle Pass comes out. I don't know if the season is going with it.
I'd assume they bring those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're getting a new agent and deathmatch, so that's cool. I still think they need more maps.
Before you go ahead, Battle Pass comes out tomorrow on the 4th, and the deathmatch mode comes out on the 5th, Wednesday.
Okay, so next few days, we'll see releases stuff. But yeah,
would be good fun.
Yeah, it would. I think Valorant still needs more maps, though. I think that's its biggest downfall right now. More maps.
Yeah.
That's the best thing they can do, and I realize maps take a while to design, but they've only got 4, and launched a competitive FPS with 4 maps. Sure you can have one map for League of Legends and just change it for years on end, but League has a lot more to it. There's a lot more possibilities in League with all the different champions and stuff. Valorant doesn't really have that. You have different heroes, but the focus is the shooting,
Yeah.
Which is very different, so I'm hoping to see more from that. And, might play a bit more Valorant, because Valorant is fun.
Have you heard about this new agent?
Yeah, she looks like a Fortnite character, doesn't she?
Yeah, I've actually not seen what she looks like. I know that she's got an auto turret, which has been a source of contention. She does look a bit like a Fortnite character. Oh
Yeah.
god. But yeah, she's got an auto turret, so people are a bit funny about that. I'm sure one of the agents has already got something like that though. I'm trying to think.
I mean, it's the only other one. What's Rocket Lady called?
Yeah, yeah, she's got
Raze.
something along those
She's got
lines.
the drone, the bot that she throws at the robot. You have a robot
Mm.
that's annoying. She got the rocket launcher
Follows
that's
you around.
kind of OP, and then she's also just throws out the stupid satchels that also damage your own team, which certain people like to use a lot. And it's not. I don't like it. They need to stop throwing it when I'm walking past them. I'm not targeting anyone here, but just putting that out there.
I will say I'm worried that Riot are kind of casting their net a little bit too wide here, because it seems like when this first came out, we were all saying, oh, it's a Counter Strike competitor, um, but with like Overwatch heroes in it. But now they've given it a deathmatch mode. I'm like, is it a Counter Strike game, or is it or is it trying to take some of the
I mean,
Overwatch
Counter Strike
people as
also has
well?
deathmatch. Deathmatch is a big part of Counter Strike too. That's like just a
Is
practice.
it?
It's kind of just like
I've never played
it's
deathmatch.
kind of
To be
just like a
honest
thing
with
you go into practice or like warm up, and you'll just like shoot some people.
I feel
It
like
is.
Spike Rush already covered that, and it did it in a good way because it still had the objective.
I don't know, but deathmatch is a big part of CS though, so it's like it's something standard to have in a game like this. So
I
it's
can't say
there.
I've never ever played deathmatch in Counter Strike. Maybe that's just me. To be fair, I've never played the CS:GO, so
Yeah, you only played Source, so
yeah.
you're behind the times with that.
That's reminded me. Halo Master Chief Collection is going to be getting a custom games browser sometime later down the line. It's in the
Ooh.
roadmap. So that'd be cool. So you'll
Yeah,
actually be able to sort of, I presume, find servers to play custom games on. So that'd be cool.
yeah. I don't know. I think Valorant can do a lot. It again with Riot backing it. If they just throw in more maps, if they make the maps more intricate and more interesting, like the newer map. I think the newer map is the most interesting map still. I think it has a lot more
Definitely.
to it. But
Mm.
if they do more like that, they push more of a competitive. There is like a lot of people looking to compete in this game, and I think Riot can push that even further. And
Definitely.
I don't know where it'll go. Like I don't know how far it's gonna get, but it's definitely competing with CS.
Yeah.
They do need to
I really like.
they need to show like the potential of the game because they've not really done a big tournament for it yet or anything. There's been little
It's not ready
stuff.
for that yet, though, is it? At the
Yeah,
same
no.
time, and
It
that's
needs to be
fine. I think
esports ready.
it's normal for a game like this. It's going to take a little bit of time to build up to be getting to that point anyway. That's fine, honestly.
Hmm.
I really like it. I think I like how it feels like it's got something for everyone. It is highly competitive for the people who want that. But I really like that I can play it because I don't want to spend 400 hours practicing to play a competitive game. But they've somehow made it possible for me to drop in, play a competitive game, feel like I'm playing a real
You
competitive game, and then
and you
I'm
contributing.
actually contributing. Yeah. Um, Without having to put all that time, like loads of time in. I've actually played a decent chunk of Valorant, but it's great. They've somehow managed to make a casual competitive game, and
Yeah.
I love that. I love that it doesn't demand loads of time from me, and it's still really fun to play, even if I'm just okay at it and not great.
Yeah. So I saw an article where they were talking about how like people were complaining that there's boring characters, but that's an intentional design choice to have characters that can affect the game by not really doing a lot. Like you have the characters that can just place smokes down wherever they want to put them, or help put down supply stuff to help speed up fire rate on for people and stuff. They do stuff where it's very simple for certain players to jump in and casually play, and then the shooting in that game is like they make it slightly easier than CS. It feels like you don't need to be as precise as CS. They give you a little bit of leeway. You definitely need to be precise, but the spray and the movement is very it's done in a way where it's like it helps you if you make mistakes, gives you a little bit of a hand.
No, I feel like the recoil, although it is bad, it's not as bad as Counter-Strike. At least how I remember it. It has been a while since I played Counter-Strike.
Yeah, the recoil is not on in this game, honestly.
Yeah, there you go then. I just remember it being insane in Counter-Strike.
But yeah, well, I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll see a big Valorant tournament at some point. Hopefully not this year, though, because you wouldn't want to host a tournament this year in 2020 with everything going on.
That'd be utterly ridiculous.
Unless it's the League of Legends 2020 World Championship.
Still going ahead. This year being hosted in China.
So, hey, if you're going to host tournaments, why would you host it anywhere else?
But it's okay. Don't worry, Zan. It's okay. Sit back, relax.
They're taking precautions.
They've got it all under control. They're not going to tour all around China. Instead, it's just going to take place entirely in Shanghai, the most densely populated city in the most densely populated country on ground zero of a pandemic.
Oh, thank God. At least they won't be going to different areas, So many points of failure if you start traveling about.
Yeah, it's better. It's better if you just keep everyone in one place, all packed
all crowded
together.
Yeah.
I love the wording that they've used for this, where it says the early stages of the tournament won't be played in front of a live audience. So presumably that means the final is going to be in front of a live audience in China.
I like to imagine they're going to have one of those fake crowds where it's just like they'll press a button to have people cheering, and then it will just be like they'll just have like they'll just have like a pre-recorded thing they cut to of people clapping and cheering.
I want them to just put like hundreds of thousands of little screens in all the seats, and like they have a different person on each screen in like a giant Zoom meeting.
They're all zoomed in. Oh, you've got to pay for your virtual Zoom ticket to be at Worlds. They put like little Timo hats on them as well on the TV screens as well. That'd be great. Just have like glow sticks sitting next to them that like just go off every now and then. I'd watch that.
Just put a little, I'd be more interested in the crowd than the game, but it's madness. It's absolute madness. And they've said because they can't have a proper one in China this year, they're going to bring the championship back to China for 2021.
Yeah, and this was a story we had a few weeks back, which is why I'm like looking at this, being why are we doing this? I don't.
Yes, I'm not convinced the pandemic's going to be completely over come 2021. I think
no,
it's still
I don't
going
think
to be
it
lingering. So there might even be another spike. What if there's another spike? Are they going to push it back to 2022 when it's meant to be in America? Oh, well, that's in China again.
It is what it is,
It is what it is. I couldn't give less of a shit anyway because it's League of Legends. I've never played it.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
I'm also now just imagining like masks strapped to the TV screens as well. I mean, I don't know, like the World Championships have been really cool tournaments in the past, and they're a really cool fun events for everyone. Just not this year, okay? Just hold it back. Do it virtually. That's all you got to do. Don't even honestly, the players shouldn't be out there. There was a story recently of, I think there was a Call of Duty tournament that was being played online, but people still showed up to the tournament locally anyway for some reason. I don't know if you saw that story, but it was like,
no, I didn't.
It was bizarre to me that was a thing. I don't know.
It's just so dumb. I don't understand why you'd want to go anyway, honestly. Just sit in a room and watch someone else play a game. I don't really get that, honestly. Even with things like games done quick. I
think there's a certain kind of hype and like energy when you're.
Yeah, I get that. I know you get the camaraderie and all that. I wouldn't risk my life for it though.
No, like I've thought about going to, like, back in the day when I was super into League, I'd thought about going to League tournaments because I thought it'd be a lot of fun, being there and just watching, your favorite esports players going at it, people with Timo hats and the glow sticks. I don't know if they had glow sticks. They had like what What are they called? Little inflatable things. They had a name, but they used to just bang those together all the time. You know what I mean?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, never mind.
Inflatable things.
Inflatable sticks that they just bang together.
Just little inflatable dildos. That's all I'm seeing in my head.
Okay. But yeah, I think that is the news for the week anyway. That is like about it. I feel like there's not more we can say on the World Championship still happening other than that's dumb.
Yeah, it's very dumb. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Don't do it, lads.
No, it's not worth it.
Turn this bus round. Take me home, country road.
I don't think I want to be on a bus, but for anyone, but you know, that's.
I mean, they're on the way to Shanghai to join a tournament. They're probably on a bus. It's probably a.
I don't want to be anywhere near that bus.
No. All aboard the banter bus, which is not that one. I don't say it anymore. It's the end of the show. My brain's dying.
Don't you worry. So,
ears.
Let's wrap the show up then. Tef, where can they find you? What do you do? Where are you on the internet? Let us know.
I'm on Twitter as Teffers because someone stole Tefrian, and I'm still bitter about that, like 6 weeks down the line. You can see me on Twitter. I also occasionally write Medium articles. There's always a pinned tweet on my Twitter with the latest one.
I've heard you've written one recently.
I've written one about Halo 3, actually, funnily enough. I mean, if you've been watching Zan, you probably know whether you want to play Halo 3 multiplayer anyway, but it's basically just an article about how Halo 3 multiplayer is still worth playing, just because it's so different from multiplayers that we've got now. It's refreshing in its own way as like a kind of this. Sometimes, if you're old enough, it's a nostalgic thing, but if not, it's just so different. Because Halo 3 predates Call of Duty and the massive changes that brought in. Predates it by about 2 months, but still. Like Modern Warfare 1 just totally changed shooters forever, and Halo's more old school and very different and worth playing online. It's good fun, very different from Call of Duty. So
I can agree with
about that if you want to. I would link to my Medium, but I still haven't figured out how to do that exactly. Don't know how it works, but it's all there on my Twitter.
We can work that out next week.
Yeah, I'll keep pushing that back a week.
Yeah, on the 13th episode of the show. Unlucky for some.
Ooh.
Will it be the episode we get cancelled? Who knows?
It's time. Let's do it.
I'm gonna make that joke every episode until we do get cancelled. But yeah, so you guys probably know me, but if you don't, I'm Zanrise on Twitch, Zanrise on YouTube, Zan Games is on Twitter because someone took Zanrise from me as well. Some Brazilian kid in the middle of nowhere.
Always Brazilian? Why is it always Brazil?
But yeah, so you can also find me at The Real Zanrise on Instagram as well, and that's about it. So yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for joining me, and we will be back next week with the 13th episode of the podcast. You'll actually find me and Tef on Thursday doing more Jack 2, hopefully, as well. So join us for that. So yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for joining me, Tef, and
Thanks, guys.
we will be back next week. Bonsoir.